Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yamuna Tirabanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Jaya Yamuna Tirabanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Jaya Yadamadaba Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Rajamadaba Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Jaya Gopijana Balaba Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Giribaradare Jaya Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Bhaja Janaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Braja Janaranjana Jaya Yasodhanandana Jaya Yamuna Tirabanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jai Radha Madhavan Jai Mishnapa Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Aṣṭau Shata Shrimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Mishnapa Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Aṣṭau Shata Shrimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Nama Acharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Nitaya Gopi Manande. All glory to the Assembled devotees. All glory to the Assembled devotees. All glory to the Assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. Narayana Namaskritya Narai Chaiva Narotaman Vede Ramane Chaiva. Oh, sorry. Hare Krishna. Devi Saraswati Vyasan Tato Jaya Mandira Ye Nasa Praye Swabhadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamas Loke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Vede Ramane Chaiva Purane Bharati Tata Hadu Adyantamadi Che Hari Sabata Giyate Mokam Karoti Vachalan Prangu Langrete Giri Yakipata Vande Shri Guru Dinatarine Paramananda Madhava Dhammaprajita Kaitavotra Paramodni Mashram Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavasmu Shivadan Tapatayo Mulana Sima Bhagavate Mahamuni Krinjaki Vaipara Isvara Sadyoridi Abaruja Trekitipita Krishna Yashava Shyamanayam Krishna Paramabhupurse Bhakti Utpade Punsan Sokamoa Bayapaha Gurave Gurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tabhaktaya Namo Namah Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chandra Madana Devaki Paramananda Krishna Bande Jagaguru Namamo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pista Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nevise Sasrinyavadi Pashta Deshtarine Vanchakapatarubhyascha Kripa Srinivyevacha Patitanam Pavanavebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in this chapter, we have been reading about the Krishna's establishing the city of Dwarka. So previous to that establishment, Krishna defeated Jarasandha army 17 different times, because each time Jarasandha will come with so many actual divisions of soldiers, which consists of millions and millions of army soldiers. But the 18th time, Jarasandha, he wanted to again attack the city of Mathura. And at the same time, there is this barbarian called Kalayabhan, who, on the advice of Narada Muni, he decided to attack Mathura city, and he came with 30 million soldiers. So the thing with Narada Muni is that he's the greatest inspirator of devotees. That's why it's called Narada. Narada means someone who gives. He gives knowledge of bhakti to Krishna. But at the same time, he also inspires the demons. He inspires the demons so that, because the demons, they also trust Narada Muni. Because Narada Muni is a demigod himself. But he's the richest among the demigods. So somehow the demons, they trust him. So they ask him for the advice. And then whatever he says, they will follow. But when Narada Muni advises demon, he advised them in such a way that they will quickly meet their demise, meet their death. Because the demons, they are troublemakers. They are troublesome to the planet, to the universe. So by Narada Muni, he will always find a way by which all these demons can be exterminated. So therefore, he said, okay, when Kalayabhan asked Narada Muni that, because he feels himself, no one is as powerful as he. So he asked him that, who is that formidable army that can defeat me? That can come in front of me? Who is that formidable army? So Narada Muni said, well, the Yadavas. The Yadavas are formidable. So they can be your worthy opponents. So following this advice of Narada Muni, Kalayabhan decided to attack the city of Mathura. So he came with 30 million soldiers. So which means on one side is the army of Kalayabhan, who already started attacking, and the other side is the army of Kalayabhan. So Krishna felt that now the city of Mathura is being attacked on both sides, and this will be difficult to deal with them at the same time. But it's not that Krishna cannot deal with them, but the Lord wanted to perform another lila. So he then established, so in consultation with Lord Balaram, so the Lord established the city of Dwarka. Sorry. He established the city of Dwarka, and then he decided to transfer all the Yadavas, all the residents of Mathura to the city of Dwarka, which is established within the ocean. Because the city being established within the ocean, no one can come across it. So we've read about the different configuration of these cities and how different demigods, they were instrumental, they were helpful to this establishment of the city. They were very instrumental. So we're going to continue the reading. So the text number 56 is there on the board. So we can read together. Yaya Bhagavata Datam Adipachan Swasidaya Savam Pyatapayam Asu Harobhumi Gati Nipa Yaya Bhagavata Datam Adipachan Swasidaya Savam Patyapayam Asu Arobhumi Gati Nipa Yaya Bhagavata Datam Adipatya Sasidaya Savam Patyapayam Asu Arobhumi Gati Nipa. Can please chant. Somebody else? Yat, whatever Bhagavata by the Supreme Lord, that term given Adipatyam, delegated power of control, Swa Dhyahun Sidaye, for facilitating the exercise of authority. Savam, all, Patyapayam Asu, they offered back Harao to Krishna, Bhumi to the earth, Gati, come, Nripa, O king. Parikshit. Translation by disciple of Śrīla Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord, having come to the earth, O king, these demigods now offered him whatever powers of control he had previously delegated to them for the exercise of their particular authority. Because this one has no purport. I'll just make some comment on that. And this one, it mentioned that the Lord granted the different authorities, different powers to the let's say, so the different loka-pālas. Loka-pālas means the directors of universe. Loka-pālas. Those entities who are in charge of various aspects of the universe. These entities are basically demigods. So upon their creation and upon their appointments of various aspects of the universal management, so they were given different powers. It's called siddhas. Siddha means perfection, so that they can execute their particular duties very effectively. And especially like different demigods like Indra, Surya, Agni, Vayu, Varuṇa. So all of them, they've all given different powers by the Lord to execute their particular duty in the effective management of the universe. It's just like the sun, the water is there in the ocean. The water is there in the ocean. And then the sun will evaporate. We take water from the ocean, and then this will form cloud. So this will form cloud, and when this form cloud, and then again the same water which has been accumulated from the cloud, the same water will again rain. It will rain down into the ocean. So now it doesn't mean that which means the origin of the water, of the rainwater, is the ocean. So it is simply going back to the ocean, that's all. So the demigods, they have all the powers by which they do many things. And of course, when people worship them to provide different necessities of life, so the demigod will provide those necessities to different worshipper. For example, if you do Indra Jaga, you will get rains. In the second canto of Bhagavatam, when Sukadeva Goswami was instructing Parikshit Maharaj, he was explaining how if one wanted a particular benediction of a particular demigod, that one should worship this particular demigod. Like he would say that, okay, if a man wants a beautiful wife, then he should worship Uma. Uma means the wife of Lord Shiva. So different prescriptions were all given in terms of who to worship for particular necessities of life. Then, of course, the devotees do not waste their time in worshiping different demigods. What is that? There's one verse. Okay, I forgot the verse. So by the worship of demigods, one receives different life necessities. However, one should understand that the demigods do not have independent existence. Because the demigods, they know that whatever power has been given to them to fulfill the necessities of the human beings, of the living entities in the universe, that power is coming from the Lord. The Lord granted that power. The power belongs to the Lord, does not belong to them. They're just temporary custodian of those power. Because the demigods, they are living entities who have executed a lot of pious activities, a lot of sacrifices, and then they become demigods. You become demigods upon execution of a lot of pious activities. Especially if you perform an 100 Aswamedha Jaga, horse sacrifice, then you can become Indra in your next life. So, which means the most pious person, extremely pious person, become demigods in their next life. And those demigods, they are deputed by the Lord to perform certain functions. And the Lord will give them particular energy to do that. But all those energies, ability which are given to demigod, those abilities, energy belong to the Lord himself. It does not belong to the demigod. And if a demigod thinks that he is a source of power, that he owns this particular power, then he get into trouble. He get into trouble. That's why many times the demigods, they get attacked by the demons. And when they are attacked by the demons, they get defeated by the demons. Like one time when Indra, somehow he defeated the demons, and then he was boasting that, because of my energy, because of my power, all these demigods, they were defeated. All these demons were defeated. The demons have been chased away because of my power. So, Lord Brahma could see that this Indra, he has become proud. He has become puffed up of his own strength. So, which means he needs to be taught a lesson. Because being an Indra means you are supposed to be a representative of the Lord. You're not supposed to, you should know who the source of your strength. But because you have this big position, you think yourself to be the source of energy. So Indra had to be punished. And the way he had to be punished was that he was attacked by the demons and he was defeated by the demons. So the demigods, they lost all their positions. Everything they lost, they were chased out of their particular kingdom. They were chased out. So they could only be living in the clouds somewhere. And then of course, after they've been chased out, then they had to go and beg Lord Brahma that please help us out, this and that. So many of these instances are there. That yes, the Lord is the source of all power. It's the source of all everything. So devotees knows this. Devotees know that yes, Krishna was that Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the source of everything. He is the cause of all causes. Devotee never think himself to be the possessor of any particular ability. Any ability that we have is because of Krishna. That he wants us to do certain things. Just like when Lord Krishna was telling Arjuna, he said that all these armies, they are already been put to death. But you are simply my puppet. So you are simply my puppet, where the puppeteer is pulling the string. He said, all these armies are already been put to death already, but you simply there, whereby you can actually get the glory of fighting. Because the Lord, he wants his devotee to have the glory, to be glorified. So the Pandavas know this very well. They know that, yes, they are the lost agent, and they are never proud of their own particular ability. But those who are not devotees, they're always very proud of their strength. When someone becomes very rich, so you both say, yes, because I'm expert, become very, very intelligent, so therefore I become very, very rich. You never think that, I'm rich because maybe God wants me to be rich. Maybe God is giving this particular ability. God is giving this particular intelligence. But people, they never think that way. Any good thing to happen to them, the thing is because of their own expertise. But when the bad things happen to them, they start blaming God. It's like, God, why me? Why me? This and that. They start blaming God. But when good things happen to them, they don't give glory to God. So that's how you can see the difference between the devotees and non-devotees. Devotees give glory to God all the time. No matter what circumstance, what position devotees may be in, they always give glory to Krishna. He always said that, yes, this is happening because the Lord is the Lord's wish. It is the Lord's will that all this is happening. So it mentioned here that when the Lord, he want to perform his lila, he want to perform his pastimes. So when the Lord decides to come, so initially, when it was decided that Lord Krishna is going to come to this planet and perform his pastimes, so all the demigods, they were instructed by Lord Brahma that they should take their birth in different families, especially in the Yadu dynasty. That they should take their birth because the Lord is coming to perform pastimes, to perform lila. So the demigods, they took birth in various Yadu families. They took birth, and then, just as we are read in the previous verses, that how the demigod, in order to facilitate the Lord's pastimes, whatever energy had been given to them before, whatever power has been given to them before, which had been delegated to them, these same powers, they were given to the Lord to perform his particular lila. So it's mentioned that this energy was again given by the demigods to the Lord to perform his lila. So as we have to understand that the demigods, it mentioned in this verse that they gave the Lords their power. But if you read the text clearly, it said that, Śrīla means this is his own energy. His own energy, they simply give it back to him. Because it's just like when you keep your money in the bank. So you keep your money in the bank, and then you go back and withdraw your money. It's your money. It does not belong to the bank. The bank is simply custodian. The money doesn't belong to the bank. It belongs to you. You withdraw the money and you use it as fit. So demigods, it's like they were deposited some power of the Lord for them. And then when the Lord decides this particular power can be again given back to him, and then he can execute his functions. So this is what is being mentioned in this, in this verse. So in this verse, he mentioned that when whatever powers of control the Supreme Lord had previously delegated to them to facilitate the exercise of their particular authorities, these demigods now offered back to Sri Hari in full on the occasion of his coming to the earth. It's offered back to the Lord because the Lord is coming to perform his lila. So therefore, whatever power, seed, perfection has been given to the demigods, so they again offer this back to the Lord so that the Lord can execute his lila. He can execute his pastimes. So Śrīla Śrīdhara Svāmī, he said, and others, such as the seeders, they offer back to him in full whatever designated powers of authority he had previously granted them to facilitate the exercise of their particular authorities. So I think this is clear itself. This is clear that yes, how the demigods, they offer back to the Lord whatever authorities had been given to them, whatever perfection had been given to them. So they fought to him because the Lord, he had to perform his lila. He had to perform his pastimes. So this is the text number 56. Now text number 57, because today we are covering 56 and 57. Tata yoga prabhavena nija savajanam hari prajapalena ramena Krishna samana mantrita nijagena puradwara padmamali nirayada. So the translation and purport. After transporting all his subjects to the new city by the power of his mystic Yogamaya, so Lord Krishna consulted with Lord Balaram, who had remained in Mathura to protect it. Then, wearing a garland of lotuses, but bearing no weapons, Lord Krishna went out of Mathura by its main gate. Śrīla Vishnu Chakravarti quotes the following verses from Sri Padma Purana, Uttarakhand, to describe how Lord Krishna transferred the citizens from Mathura to Dwarka. Sushuptam Mathurayantu Paturan Stata Janadanaha Adikritya Sahasa Ratnau Dwarakayan Yabisayat Padubiste Janasave Putadara Samambitaha Ayana Harange Tale Vishta Vismayam Paramam Yayu. In the middle of the night, all the citizens of Mathura slept. Lord Janardana suddenly removed them from that city and placed them in Dwarka. When the men awoke, they were all amazed to find themselves, their children and their wives sitting inside palaces made of gold. So this is very, very interesting because Krishna is called Yogeshwara. He is Yogeshwara, is the controller of all the yogis. Normally when you perform the yogas, sadhana, you can attain many, many mystic perfections, siddhis, when you perform different yogas. Maybe nowadays, you don't see too many people being able to perform enough yoga sadhana so they can attain various mystic perfection, mystic powers. But this, in the old days, in the olden days, during the Vedic times, this is very, very common, that the many sages, yogis, they will have tremendous amount of power. It's mentioned here that there are 8 mystic perfections which are there, whereby you can become smaller than the smallest, or you can become bigger than the biggest. Anything you desire, you can get it. You can enter into someone's heart. So many perfections are there. But of all these yogis, those who have attained perfection, the controller of all of them is Krishna. He is the supreme mystic. He is the supreme yogi. And all the yogi perfections, they render service at his lotus feet. All kind of yogi perfection, they actually personify. They're always ready to render particular service to the Lord. So the Lord, after constructing the Dwarka city in the middle of the ocean, so he did not just tell the inhabitants of Mathura that, okay, let's go to Dwarka. And Dwarka is very far away from Mathura, it's in Gujarat. So Mathura to Gujarat is very far away. And those days there was no plane, there was no car. They have different type of plane or different type of cars. But let's assume there was no, Air India, Indigo Airline, Vista Airline, so that they can just go there. So what Lord Krishna did was that while the residents of Mathura, while they were sleeping, the Lord had them transfer immediately. In the middle of the night, the Lord, with his yogic power, it's called Yoga Maya, his own potency, his own energy, So the Lord had all of them transferred. When they were sleeping at night, all of them, they were in their sleep. They were transferred. They were transferred to Dwarka. And when they woke up in the morning, they found themselves awake in a golden palaces. Everything so intricately made. You know, the Dwarka was constructed by Vishwakarma. It was instructed by the Lord to make this city. It's said to be the 80 yojanas. 80 yojanas square. 80 yojanas means you divide 80 by times 8 multiplied by 8. So that is 640 square miles. So 80 by 80 times 8, that is 640 square miles. That is the size of Dwarka city. It's very, 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 very big city. And in there, everything was constructed according to the Varnashram sections, whereby different residents will have their particular residence. The Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and Sudra. So everything is done according to the Vedic system. I mean, everything is so done in a very perfected way. And it was mentioned, I think, in the early verse, that when this city was constructed, that even the Sudama assembly was brought. Sudama assembly. This was brought from the heavenly planet. They came from the palace of Lord Indra, Sudama assembly. Now it's called Sudharma because it's such an assembly that anyone who enters it will never feel any tribulations of material world. Anybody who enters this assembly is an assembly whereby the goal of life is easily achieved. And also, there's no such a thing as death there. No such a thing as death. It's such an assembly. And this assembly where all the deliberations of the city will be discussed. Assembly is like a parliament building where all the proceedings of the states is discussed. So in these assemblies, this Sudama assembly, whereby King Ugrasena, who was the king of the king, so whereby he will be surrounded by his various ministers. He'll be surrounded by various ministers, and then they will all be deliberating on the affairs of running the city. But however, every morning when they were deliberating, unless Lord Krishna comes to the assembly, they will not start any deliberation. So because they will want the presence of Krishna there in order for them to do their deliberation. So the pastime is there when one time Narada Muni, he had come to Dwarka, and when he came to Dwarka, and so he went to the assembly, he went to the Sudama assembly, because that time the Yadavas, they were ready to start the deliberation for the day. But when he entered the assembly, the Narada Muni saw Ugrasena, and he saw all the Yadavas, all the ministers, they all on their seat, but there was no deliberation going on. And everyone was very anxious. And why are they anxious? Because Lord Krishna had not come this particular morning. He had not come to the assembly. So they were wondering, because Lord Krishna normally come at a particular time to the assembly so that the deliberation can start. But he had not come in this particular morning. So Ugrasena Maharaj and everyone was very, very anxious to see why Krishna had not come. Why Krishna had not come to the assembly. But it so happened, it's a very long story, of course, but it so happened that in this particular morning, Krishna was in a different state. Krishna was in a different state, and that state was that Krishna was, all of a sudden, he became absorbed in the remembrance of the Brajavasis. He became absorbed in the remembrance of the Brajavasis, thinking deeply about the love of the Brajavasis, especially his mother Yashoda and the Maharaj, and especially the gopis of Vrindavan, headed by Srimati Radharani. So Lord Krishna was very, very absorbed, thinking of this, and calling upon them, calling upon their names, and then he became unconscious. He became unconscious just thinking of the love which Brajavasis have for him. And the fact that he had promised them, because when Krishna left Vrindavan, he told them that I am coming back. I'm coming back because I just have some particular duties to perform. He said, I am coming back. But for a long period of time, Krishna had not come back to Vrindavan. So which means the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they're always in a deep, intense feeling of separation from Krishna. So Krishna knew that, the Brajavasis, they must be feeling so much separation from me. So he became so absorbed in this, in their thoughts, that himself, he lost consciousness. So therefore, Nardamuni, seeing that Krishna is not in the assembly, and everybody in Dwarka, they are wondering, where is Krishna? What happened to Krishna this morning? And then they went to the palace, and they had to witness what was going on in the palace. Everyone was crying in the palace, crying. Why are they crying? Because Krishna lost consciousness. He was not getting up. So everyone was crying, and so anyway, it's a very long lila pastimes, which was described by Sanatana Goswami in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. So this assembly, Sudama assembly, is such a glorious assembly. So to bring us to the point here that the Dwarka city was constructed, and then the Mathura, the Yadavas, they were transferred in the middle of the night to the city of Dwarka without them knowing. They did not even know. They just woke up and found themselves in the city of Mathura. The city of Dwarka. So you just imagine yourself, you wake up, and then you find yourself in a different city. Actually, there was one time when I think it was Ramanujacharya. So Ramanujacharya, he was in, I think it was in Jagannath Puri or something like that. So he was there, and then somehow he found something that is not consistent. He found some flaws there in the activities. He found some flaw. So, and then he tried to criticize this. He tried to criticize this flaw that he found. Said that, this should not be like this should not be like that. So in the middle of the night, the Lord appeared to him. He said that, you're a great Brahmana. You don't belong here. What are you doing here? You're a Brahmana who knows all the rules and regulations, whereas the people here, they are bhaktas, they are devotees. Devotees don't depend on regulations. They don't depend on rules and regulations. So therefore, you should not be here. You should go back to where you come from. Don't be here. So, and then, so Ramanuja, when he wake up, he find himself in a different place. He was not there at that original place. So he found himself in a different place. That, the Lord is not, this is what the Lord has not approved, my criticizing what devotees are doing here, and then the Lord, he was put somewhere else. So we find, quite a bit of stories like that. So Krishna, by his own desire, he put the Dwarka, the Mathura Vasis, he put them in Dwarka by his own desire. So that, now he mentioned here that then after transferring them to to Dwarka, and then then he spoke with Lord Balaram. So the Lord spoke with Lord Balaram that that Balaram should protect the city, that himself is going to deal with this Kalayāvan. He's going to deal with them. He's going to deal with them, and then Krishna, he started to walk out of the city. He had a lotus garland on his neck, and he's walking out. He did not carry any weapon with him. He did not carry any weapon. So the Lord Krishna walking out of the Mathura city, but at the same time, he has a purpose. There's a reason for that. As we're going to learn from the next chapter regarding the Muchukunda. So we're going to learn this in the next chapter. What is his intention? Because Krishna did not want to fight with this fellow. He did not, because actually this fellow happened to represent the anger of Lord Shiva. So Lord Krishna did not want to fight with him. He didn't want to fight with him. So he walked out of the city without bearing any arms. He walked out without bearing any arms. And then we're going to be hearing in the next chapter about how this fellow was killed by Muchukunda. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to stop here. So it's nice, these narrations which we're hearing from this chapter of the Bhagavatam about the very extraordinary pastimes of the Lord. How he accomplished everything by the power of his Yogamaya potency. Okay. So thank you very much for listening. Does anybody have any question? Any question or comment? Hare Krishna.
Before Krishna, they were worshipping Indra, and Indra was giving them rain. And it is mentioned that Lord is the cause of all causes.
Yeah.
So how can we understand this?
How
can you understand that Lord is cause of causes and worshipping Indra before, and later on Krishna told them you shouldn't worship Indra. Before, everybody was worshipping Indra. So worshipping Brahmaji, everybody worshipping.
Yeah, because Indra was minister. He's like a minister of, rain. Also, he was the king of heaven. But again, the cause of all Indra's power is Krishna. He has got his power, but sometimes, from time to time, Indra becomes proud. So he becomes forgetful of the source of his own strength. So knowing this, the Lord, he had to teach Indra a lesson. So in order to teach him a lesson, the Lord told Brajabasi that do not worship Indra this particular year. Don't worship him. He's not. He cannot do anything independently anyway. No need to worship him because the Lord wanted to glorify his own devotee, Govardhan. So therefore, he said, do not worship Indra this time, because Indra, because of illusion, he failed to understand who Krishna is because of his own illusion. So therefore, in order to bring back to the senses, so the Lord enacted this lila. Eventually, Indra realizes his folly, his mistake. So realized it eventually. But the Lord did this to correct him. In one sense, Indra is also a devotee, but he's a materialistic devotee. He's not like a Sudha Bhakti, not like a pure devotee. And the Brajabasis, they are much a higher platform than Indra. And who are these? And who is Indra to be worshipped by the Brajabasi? Who are them on the much, much higher caliber? But because Brajabasi, they were very humble. Normally, a devotee is one who is always very, very humble. And the more higher a devotee is, the more humble he's become. Thereby, he's ready to worship anybody. So, Brajabasi, they worship Indra. They worship him because they say, this fellow, he give us rain. Because we are forest dwellers, we have cows, we are agriculturists. So therefore we need Indra, and then they worship, they perform worship to him. They did this because of their humility. But they're actually far, far above Indra. But Indra, because of his illusion, he failed to recognize this. So therefore he said, who are these Brajavasis stopping listening to this boy, and then they stop my sacrifice. So therefore, let me punish them. Okay. So that's the thing. So as we hear from these verses that yes, all the powers were delegated to the demigods, and when the Lord can withdraw this power at any time. He can withdraw them at any time. You know. So any other points? Any other question? All right. I hope everybody is able to understand something. Some of the points which have been mentioned in these verses. So thank you very much. Grand Trasham Bhagavatam ki, Śrīla Prabhupada ki, Gopi Menande.